Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu. Pydantic Data Validation, episode 15 of 20. If your API schemas are already strictly typed in Python, having to maintain a separate YAML file for your OpenAPI documentation is a massive waste of time. You end up maintaining two sources of truth that inevitably drift apart. Generating JSON schema directly from your models solves this synchronization problem. Every Pydantic model comes with a method called model JSON schema. When you call this method, Pydantic inspects your model. It reads the fields, the types, the default values, and the validation constraints. It then translates all of that internal Python logic into a standard JSON schema dictionary. Specifically, Pydantic emits draft 2020-12 of the JSON schema specification. This is the part that matters. Because the output adheres to this widely accepted standard, it is natively compatible with OpenAPI. You define your strict validation rules once in Python, and the framework automatically provides the exact schema definition that your external consumers need. There is no manual translation required. The standard schema generation handles types and basic constraints perfectly, but sometimes you need to communicate business logic or specific formats that cannot be inferred from a Python type hint alone. Consider a scenario where you are building a configuration model for a new service. The model contains a field that accepts a dictionary of custom settings. The front-end team needs to know exactly what a valid payload looks like rather than just knowing it is a generic object. To solve this, you use a feature called JSON Schema Extra. This parameter allows you to inject arbitrary custom metadata directly into the generated JSON schema. You can use it to add mock examples, custom descriptions, or specific keyword markers that your API gateway might require. You can apply JSON Schema Extra at two distinct levels. You can attach it to an individual field, or you can apply it to the entire model. To provide a mock example for that specific settings field, you define your configuration model. For the complex settings attribute, you assign it a field function. Inside that field function, you provide the JSON Schema Extra argument. You pass it a dictionary containing the standard JSON schema key named examples. The value mapped to that key is a list holding your exact mock configuration payload. Alternatively, if you want to document the entire model rather than a single field, you define a model config dictionary on the class. Inside that configuration dictionary, you provide JSON Schema Extra with a schema-level example. This approach is highly useful when you want to show how multiple fields interact together in a complete request body. When you execute model JSON schema on your configuration model, Pydantic builds the standard schema tree. When it reaches your fields or model configuration, it merges your custom examples dictionary directly into the standard output. The front-end tooling reads this schema, parses the examples property, and immediately displays the mock payload to the developers. They know exactly what to send, and your Python code remains the single source of truth. The real power of Pydantic schema generation is that any external tool built for the JSON schema ecosystem can immediately consume your Python validation rules without custom integration. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me. Until next time, take it easy.